24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening, and welcome to Salam Radio 106.2 FM. You're listening to Wealth Made Simple with myself, Shaz and
Kieron Bateman.
How are you, Kieron?
I am all the better for having seen you, my friend.
Very good. And
It's always good to catch up and see you here.
It's always a pleasure, isn't it?
Always.
Well, the week goes by so quickly. I know we
It
say
really
every
does.
week, but it doesn't. And
It
every
really
week goes
does.
by quicker.
Yep. The older I get, the faster the weeks go by.
Scary, isn't it?
Terrifying.
Not just the weeks, the months and the years and the decades.
Well, can you believe that we're almost in March?
Unbelievable. It is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Time goes so fast when you're having fun.
No, time goes by so slowly. That was the song.
Well, as always, we welcome your participation, and you can do that by calling us on 01733 602 133, or you can text us on 07411 191 062, or comment on any of the live streams which are on Facebook, YouTube, X, which is formerly Twitter, or Twitch.
How long do you think people are going to do that for? X, formerly
I
Twitter.
think for a long time.
Fair.
But Elon likes X, so we'll just stick with X.
SpaceX,
Yeah, I know.
Twitter X.
His money, his rules.
Yeah.
In fact, we should do an episode on that.
We should. My money, my rules.
Yeah, and kind of talk about how people can make things work for them by setting the ground rules and
Setting boundaries.
Yeah.
I mean, setting boundaries is an important
It is,
thing.
yeah.
We should do a full episode on that.
yeah. So keep.
I'll
mental
take a note.
This week on Wealth Made Simple, we're talking about the essential steps for wealth creation. And we've talked a bit about these steps in different episodes, but we've not really kind of gone into detail in all the different steps. So we've got a long list which we'll go through and share with you. And I think it's important for anybody listening and viewing to make note of these and then put them into action. Because with the best intent in the world, Kieron, we listen to stuff and that's really good, that's really useful. I must implement that. But then we forget about it after a day, a week, a month. I think writing stuff down and then making sure that you commit to when you're going to do something about it, that's the only thing that's going to change your results. Best intent won't change anything.
Intention is a great thing.
Followed by action, yeah.
But if you've got an idea for the next great product and it only ever stays as an idea, you're never going to make money off of it.
No.
You're never going to create it.
No.
You're never going to do any of the steps that you need to do to get into business. But you had a really good idea. And then a few years later, you can guarantee somebody else will have it and you'll see it on the sale or, in a shop, or somebody will mention they've picked up this really good gizmo, gadget, whatever. And you'll say, yeah, I had that idea. Okay, you had an idea. What did you do with it? Did you take any action?
Yeah.
No, you took no action. You took no action. You took no risk.
I wish I would have. Is what they
No action, no risk, no reward. Simple as that.
Simple maths.
Yep. And it sounds really harsh, but true.
It's true. And I think the important thing about creating wealth is that I always liken it to a messy kitchen. There's a lot going on. There's food everywhere. There's cooking utensils everywhere. Okay, and there's stuff going on. It's never.
You say that like you cook a lot.
There's only one thing I do in the kitchen, Kieron, and that's not cook. but let's leave it there. Okay.
Whereas I do a lot of cooking.
I know you do. Yeah.
But you are right. Sorry, I'm not
you're
trying to
a talented
sidetrack.
man, unlike me. Yeah.
You could cook if you want to.
Yeah. Sometimes you try and you think, quit while you're ahead.
I like your version of DIY. Don't involve yourself.
Yeah. Well, my wife, as you know, is a very good cook.
Very, very good cook.
And then I think if I ever made food for her, she'd be very disappointed. So
Best not disappoint her, eh?
Best not disappointed. Yeah. But it's a multifaceted approach, which requires planning.
Yep.
Just like cooking a really good meal, and then it requires proper execution.
Yes.
And that's not. And I said proper, not perfect. People think it's going to be perfect. Nothing's ever perfect.
No.
Things go wrong all the time, and you've got to improve and enhance and change and adopt. It's an ever-evolving process. It's iterative. And then it's continuous learning, making mistakes, tripping up, hurdles, obstacles, challenges, problems, issues,
The
concerns.
path to success is paved with failure.
That's right. Isn't it?
If you get it right all the time, you learn nothing.
Yeah. And then it would be so easy, and everybody would do it.
Everyone will do it.
Yeah. So, and that's why we're going to say best part of 20 essential steps for wealth creation, which are going to be like a roadmap and a foundation for those people who want to become, I'd say, sophisticated and intelligent and
Yeah.
smart investors. And each step is a building block to get them to the next step.
Yep.
And with everything in business and in investing, it all starts with setting clear financial goals.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. The thing is, if you've got nothing to aim for, then what are you working towards? If you say, okay, give you a scenario. If I say, I want to be wealthy. Okay, well done, Kieron. You want to be wealthy.
It's too bleak, isn't it?
It's very wishy-washy.
Yeah.
It's very, very non-committal. You want to be wealthy. Okay, great. What does wealth look like to you? Okay, if I turn around and say, I want over £1 million in my bank account, now I've put a number there. That's a lot more concrete. It's a lot more precise.
But then you can start breaking it down into chunks.
And then you go, okay, so I'm now not going generically, I'm going to be wealthy, so I'm going to do some stuff to make me wealthy. No, I want £1 million in my bank account. Okay, how do I put £1 million in my bank account? Well, I need to invest here, make sure that investment pays off. I need to invest smartly. I need to invest wisely. I need to learn how to invest.
have
I
a
need
certain return, have savings.
Need to have savings.
And
suddenly you're
how
breaking it down
leverage works,
into the building
network.
blocks
Yeah,
that will
people's
get
money.
you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so your goal is no longer £1 million in your bank account. Your goal is to learn how to put £1 million in your bank
I
account.
think what's really important is a lot of people get bogged down in how. And I think what's important is the what.
Yeah.
What do I want? Once you've got that, the how will come to you over time.
But you've got to start.
Yeah, you got to make a start.
But you've got to start with the what.
Lao Tzu said the journey of 1,000 miles.
Begins with a single step.
So you've got to take that first step,
Yep.
and then the road will open up itself.
And this is the thing that I know you've discovered and I know I've discovered, but over the years, it's all of the information that we cover on this show, everything we say, everything that we look at, everything we've learned, everything we cover, has been covered 100 times over by 1,000 different philosophers over the centuries.
Yeah.
And I'm talking centuries.
80 centuries. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And it all comes back to the same basic principles. So we're not telling anyone anything new here. We're not.
There is nothing new.
We're not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're trying to bring to your attention the things that already exist.
I think the only new thing, Kieron, is the tools.
The tools change.
The techniques
Yeah.
are the same when you go back, to even the early 1900s, when you had people like Andrew Carnegie, Rockefeller, so on and so
Yeah.
forth, JP Morgan, Tesla. They were using the same techniques, as we are today.
Well, let's take it back even further. Let's take it back, say, 5,000 years. 5,000 years. How did people amass wealth 5,000 years ago? Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, people still do that today.
Yeah.
That's not changed. Land.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, the methods of claiming the gold and the land were a little bit more barbaric.
Different, yeah.
Yeah, but the point is, you didn't become wealthy because you were nice and you didn't learn anything. You became wealthy because you went and took it. You went and fought for it, or you had other people fight for it for
and
you.
you have to fight for it today, just in a different way.
But 5,000 years to
The
today.
instinct's the same.
The instinct's
the
the
method's
same.
different.
Yeah, and 5,000 years to today. Two biggest forms of wealth: land, gold. That hasn't changed that much.
No, at all. Yeah, that's right.
Like you say, the tools have changed, but not a lot else.
Yeah. And with those financial goals, I think it's important to set out what you really want. What kind of income do you want every year?
Yep.
What you want your net worth to be. How much time do you want to spend with your family? How many holidays do you want? What do you want to contribute to your local community? How much do you want to contribute to charity? How much do you want to contribute to yourself, to your family, to your loved ones? And how much do you want to dedicate to your own personal belief? Okay. And I think it's setting all of those goals. So although we've said financial goals, it's I'd say your family goals, spiritual goals, financial goals, and then your community goals.
Yep.
Yeah, which we've talked about in the past when we talked about the wheel of life. And,
Yep.
having the 8 or 10 important things. And just, some people say, I don't know where to start. Well, just put something down.
Yeah.
No. If you know where to start, make your goal. If you know on 20,000 or 30,000 pounds a year, for example, I'm just making it up. Put down 100 grand and say, I'm going to start there.
Yeah. I would say the first thing you should do is buy a journal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it costs you a couple of quid. Buy a journal, start writing in it. Start putting pen to paper, brain to words. Write things down.
Important, yeah.
That's the first thing. If you do nothing else this year, and we've got a lot of year left to start making changes, but if you do nothing else this year, buy a journal, write in your journal every day.
Powerful.
Every day.
Yeah.
And you can start off really simply just by writing what happened into the day and
what you're grateful for. Write about all the bad experiences that happened in a day and what you would change your reaction to hindsight. And what you learn from it.
What you've learned from it. Do that for a couple of months. Just see how it goes.
And then review.
it. Yeah. Then start adding in the goals and where you want to be, what you want to do, how you want to get. Just really light and easy. And I promise you that one thing will change everything.
Of course it will. Because you made a start.
Yep.
And the second thing I think is important, and we've again talked about this in the past, is to create a budget.
Yes.
Track your income, track your expenditure, and then control the unnecessary expenditure and the leakages and the wastage, and start channeling that into savings and investments.
But Shaz, I don't earn enough every month. My bills go out. My money comes in, my bills go out, and I've got maybe 150, 200 pound left for the after bills. Essential necessities, water, gas, electric. I've got maybe 200 pound left. That's my money for living my life.
Yeah.
Do you expect me to become a hermit and do nothing with my life?
Now, as you know, we've heard that so many times.
Yeah.
Two things. First thing is when you go through their personal bank statements, you'll find they've got expenditure that they don't need to have.
Yeah.
All the time.
All
Whether
the
it's
time.
A subscription to a channel, whether it's subscribing to a magazine, whether it's some other form of membership, because I remember we're in this subscription era now.
Yep.
So there's always some form of leakage, number one. Number two then, okay, you've got your bills, your gas bill, your electric bill, your phone bill. All right, let's review those and see, can we find cheaper providers?
Can you do something about them?
Yeah. And the answer is yes, unless you're locked into a certain period. Okay?
Almost always the answer is yes.
Yeah. So everybody can find, well, I can't talk about every single person, but most of us have some form of wastage and leakage, whatever it might be. It might just be ordering takeaways. I'm just saying, okay, and we can we can tweak it slightly. See, you can have whatever you want in life, Kieron, as long as you're willing to
pay the cost.
Pay a price. Okay?
Yeah.
And that means being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Being uncomfortable, okay? But I like my 4 holidays a year. Well, you might do, but then it's not going to work for you. So you've got to give something up to gain something extra.
Yeah.
That's just the way life works.
Yeah. Life is a balance.
Yeah.
And if you overstack one end, it becomes unbalanced.
Yeah.
You need to maintain that balance.
Absolutely. And then once you've got the budget, stick to the budget, because now you've got a clear kind of set of rules, as you said earlier, boundaries, in terms of this is how much I'm willing to spend on this particular cost, whatever that might be, or item. And then make sure you stick, and you're kind of really hard-nosed about this, and stick to it. And you'll soon start seeing that you are going to start accumulating some form of savings.
Yep.
And I'm talking about the majority here. I'm not talking about every single person. 'Cause
Yeah, yeah.
I can't talk about everybody.
Yeah,
It's just that,
there are exceptions out there. There are people who are,
yeah, who probably don't have anything that they can change, but the majority can, and we're here to talk about the majority.
Yeah.
And so, and once you've done that, once you've got those savings, and then you start investing, and that's a whole different ballgame, which we talked about on other episodes. And as you know, you and I can't give financial investment advice because we're not authorized to do so.
No.
What we can give is information for people to go.
But I mean, even the people who have nothing at the end of the month and they can't change anything, even those exceptions that we admit are out there, and there's nothing, there's nothing they can cut back on. There's nothing. They are on the cheapest providers they can, etc., 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 and still there's more month left than there is money.
Yeah, that's right.
That there are still things they can do, and we will cover those later on.
Yep.
But the point here is, if there is more month left at the end of the money and there is truly nothing you can do, then it is more imperative that these people listen and implement these changes more than anyone else.
Yeah, because they need the most.
Because they're going to benefit the most.
Absolutely. And then what I think is really important is building an emergency fund.
Yes. Yeah.
So for a rainy day. And this is for unforeseen expenditure. You could lose your job. You might need some emergency medical treatment and you can't get it in the NHS because you need it fast and you can't wait. Okay. There's some of the family emergency where you need some cash.
Yep.
Okay. To pay for something. And having that slush fund is incredibly important, and you've got to build it up. And I'd say lock it into a separate account, okay, where you can access it, but
it takes time to access it.
Yeah. And I mean, personally, I wouldn't lock it into a 60, 90-day account, but what I would say is,
maybe
have it
a 7-day account.
Yeah, yeah. And then say, I'm just not going to use money at all unless it's an emergency. List out those emergencies.
Yeah. I call this a Santa account.
Yeah.
Save and never touch.
Yeah.
And it, different for different people. I like to have a year's worth covered in that account. A year, 12 months. Now I know.
So you've got $5,000 in your account then?
Yeah. But and this is the thing. It's not as much as people think it is.
No.
Because when you say I want a year emergency, they go, okay, well your salary is this, you're earning this amount, so you've got that much in there, and it's like no. When I say a year emergency fund, I mean I can cover the basics for a year.
Yeah.
My mortgage,
or your rent, yeah,
or your rent for a year. I can cover my gas bill for a year, my electric bill for a year, my water bill for a year. Can't cover TV for a year.
Yeah.
Because that's a luxury, in my opinion. So I don't factor that in. Yeah. I've got money for food each month in there.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, because I need to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Does that cover my gym membership? No, it does not.
Yeah.
Does it cover fuel to get to and from work? Yes, it does.
That obviously is important.
But it's not as much as people think it is, and it's not as hard to do as people think it is. The discipline here is, what can you live without? When you strip everything back and you go, okay, I've lost my job, I'm out of work, or something's come up that's cost X amount and it has impacted all of everything. If I have to go and live on that account, what can I feasibly get rid of?
That was interesting. Having had this conversation with numerous people over the years, and some of them obviously were doing really well at the time we had this conversation. That, well, I can't make do without X, Y, Z, A, B, C, whatever it might be, okay? And then they come across this unfortunate situation where they lose their job.
Yep.
And their partner or their husband or their wife loses their job. Okay? And then they make do with giving up everything that they thought they can't, live without.
Possibly live without, yeah.
And that's when the penny drops for them, and they realize, I wish I wouldn't have wasted all of that, money and all those things which I thought I can't make do without. So comfortable. The problem is people want to remain comfortable and still want to gain more. Well, I think that's an oxymoron to some extent. It doesn't work. It's mutually exclusive.
Yes.
You've got to be uncomfortable to get what you don't have. Right?
Yeah.
We have so many examples. We don't need to run through names of businesses. They're out there, well noted, well established. But you've got to be willing to do what other people aren't willing to do to have what they don't have.
I would rather spend, and this is kind of a very quick summary of what you were just talking about. I'd rather spend the next 5 to 10 years really struggling, really uncomfortable, really difficult life, to know that the rest of my life is going to be on easy street, plain sailing.
Compared to those 5 to 10 years,
because I've set everything up, I've invested wisely, I've got businesses running, I've got redundancies, I've got multiple streams, I've got backups, I've got savings, I've got all of that. Could take me a decade to do. Okay, I'll spend a decade doing it because I don't have a choice.
Yeah, and I see people get this. Somebody wants to be a doctor, for example, Kieron, okay? They invest so much time, money and effort and years in doing that. We were talking about martial arts earlier.
Yeah.
And somebody wants to be a black belt or even higher, or a grandmaster, and they spend decades. Somebody wants to own a business and make it successful, and they understand that they're going to have to spend at least 5 years, building solid foundations. People get that. But when it comes to wealth creation, for some reason, it's this get-rich-quick mentality that people have, which stops them from saying, I don't want to spend 10 years doing this. Well, that's what it takes. Now, this is small baby steps, and we've talked about Warren Buffett many a time, and he's a good example, okay?
Great example.
Of the small compound difference, okay, or the difference compounding can make
Small amounts
over a long and sustained period of time.
Yep.
And that's what it's like. It's slow and painful and long, but it's worth it.
Yes. And
Simple as that.
we live in a world where everything is fundamentally disposable and everything is about quick gratification. And wealth generation isn't quick. It's not.
For the majority.
For the
some
majority.
people might get lucky.
Yeah.
Not lucky, but they might have an idea which they implement, and it kind of grows very, very quickly, expands. They can scale up, but for the majority, it's slow and painful. I mean, think about it. How many people are there in the world? How many millionaires are there in the world? Look at the percentage. It's a very small number.
Yep.
Because it ain't easy.
No.
That's why. Yeah. And not everybody's willing to do what those people have done. Simple as that.
Yeah, and it is that simple.
Yeah, to get into that league, that club, call it what you like, okay? You need to do stuff that you've not been doing in the past. Otherwise, if you're going to...
You can't do what the masses do.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to end up with what the masses get. Yeah. On that note, number 4 on our list is if people have debt, then pay off the high interest debt. Sounds obvious, but so many people don't do it.
Well, so interesting. I had this conversation with someone the other day, and their idea of, because there are 2 types of debt. There is good debt and bad debt in my book. Mm-hmm. And their idea of good debt is completely different to mine. Mm-hmm. Their idea of good debt is if they get a good deal or something's on sale and it was something they wanted. To me, that's still bad debt. Mm-hmm. And you're still paying a high interest for it. It's still going to cost you. And it was for something that you just wanted, not needed. It didn't educate you. You didn't learn anything from it. I would consider that bad debt. They did not, because in their view, they couldn't afford it right now. So they put it on debt, put it on a credit card, because it's cheap right now.
See, the only time I do that, I'll tell you when I do that, Kieron, is let's say if I'm buying a sofa or something else, okay?
Yeah.
And they call it interest-free credit, yeah? Whether it is or isn't, or if it's built in the price, you're going to pay the same amount whether you pay cash today or whether you pay over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That's when I'll spread it over the next 5 years because I'm not paying interest.
Yeah.
and I can use that money elsewhere.
Yes.
Okay, and I'll make much more, okay, over the next 5 years than what I've paid for this particular item. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, other than that, if I'm buying a TV, for example, I don't want to get it on
Finance?
credit card or finance. If I can't afford it, I can't afford it.
Yeah, you can't afford it, you don't get it, you wait.
Be patient and work away towards earning it.
Yeah.
And you've heard me, I mean, say that when you come to my house, I remember I say,
Yeah.
oh, Kieron, I needed that thing here. But right now, it's not a priority and I'll get it later. Like the coffee maker that
Yes,
we were
yes,
talking about,
yes,
the
yes,
inbuilt,
yes.
and some people,
Yeah.
it's a surprise. Because I'm thinking, I've got other more important things to do. Okay, it's a 2.5, 3 grand coffee maker, whatever, okay? But it's not urgent or important right now.
No.
And I can make it happen, but I'm thinking, well, I'm going to let something else happen first, and that's going to make enough money to buy this coffee
Yep.
maker. And on that note, we're just about to go to a very quick break, and obviously an interesting conversation. Make sure you join us after the break, where we can talk about some of the other essential steps for creating wealth.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Are you looking for a career where you can make a difference? At Cross Keys Homes, we work with our local communities to create opportunities that change lives. We're looking for enthusiastic, talented people to join our team, from apprenticeships to senior management positions. Cross Keys Homes can support your development while you enjoy great employee benefits. There are so many opportunities for you to shine. Apply to join the Cross Keys Homes team at crosskeyshomes.co.uk.
Are you a savvy shopper searching for the best food deals? Look no further. Adams Cash and Carry can help you save big. We're not just a food wholesaler for takeaways and restaurants. We also welcome household customers at our warehouse in Westwood, Peterborough. Visit our website and enjoy wholesale prices on everything from drinks to flour, rice to burgers, and much more. To shop, go online and collect in store. Visit adamscashandcarry.co.uk today to start your savings spree.
2020 World Buffet is inspired by the best foods from around the world. See our teppanyaki chefs grill your food to order, or choose delicious Indian, Italian, Chinese, Mexican dishes and British favourites, all halal. 2020 World Buffet offers you unlimited food at a set price. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner. Catering, wedding and party services available too. Call 01733 566 320 or visit 2020buffet.co.uk. 2020 World Buffet, 35 New Road, Peterborough, PE1 1FJ.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Worried your tenants could stop paying their rent during this cost of living crisis? Next Move Estate and Letting Agents are offering landlords 12 months rent in advance. You'll get your rent paid for the whole year in advance. No strings attached. Too good to be true? It really is that simple. So get in touch with us today for this extremely limited offer. Call Next Move now on 01733 641 642 to find out how we can help.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening. And if you've joined us back, thank you very much for joining. And if you just tuned in, welcome to Wealth Made Simple on Salam Radio 106.2 FM. I'm your host, Shaz Nawaz, and I have with me in the studio
Kieron Bateman.
And today we are talking about a very important topic. But before we get on to that, as always, we welcome your participation. You can call us on 01733 602 133. Text us on 07411 191 062. Or comment on any of the live streams, which are Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, or Twitch. And this week on Wealth Made Simple, we are talking about the essential steps for building wealth. And we've obviously shared a few of those in the first half. And we're going to cover some of the others off for you now. So we were just before the break, we were talking about obviously paying off those high interest debt or finances, which is important, and not buying things on finance which you can't afford, unless it really is some form of interest-free credit, whereby whether you pay cash today or whether you're paying over 5 years,
it makes no difference.
The figures are going to be the same.
Yeah,
you get no discount for paying cash.
No,
like when you go to buy a sofa or something like that. Okay. Other than that, if you can't, and this is my personal view, by the way, Kieron, yours might be different. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. You know, don't just 84-inch TV. Do you know what I mean? You just make do with something smaller. It's okay. Simple as that.
But I need an 84-inch TV, Shaz.
Well, in that case, my friend, carry on, and I'll see you this time next year, and then we'll have a chat about how that plan's working out for that particular person.
And we'll work out who's doing better, you or me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fifth thing that we want to share with you is looking for ways to increase your income.
Yes.
And people always struggle with this.
I think there is a general mindset of I can't, or well, it's easy for you to say, or so many other things that excuses, and they are excuses, and I will not hear anyone say otherwise. They are excuses. It's a matter of what's important to you. If you are struggling to make ends meet, and I think that the country and everything has a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Duty to look after its constituents and its people, and to make sure that there is enough to go around. But ultimately, and this is a big thing that comes slightly later on, or stuff, is take accountability.
Oh, that's massive, isn't it?
And
responsibility.
Your income is your responsibility. But I don't have the qualifications or the education to do any other job than the job I've got. And the job I've got pays minimum wage, and minimum wage doesn't cover me for, living. Okay. All right, fine. Do you have your Sky subscription and things like that? Well, okay, that's 60, 70 quid a month you could save for a start. But assuming that you are on, you are one of those people who is on bare minimum, you pay for all your bills, and then once your necessary bills are out, you're done, and you're telling me that you can't get any other work, do you have any free time? Do you have any downtime? If the answer to that question is yes, any time at all, then telling me that you can't earn more money is an excuse.
Make better use of it. Yeah.
Because there is going to be something you're good at. Whether it's your current job, whether it's your current role, could you, for example, if you're, Kieron and Shaz, it's easy for you to say, I've got no qualifications, I left school early, and I'm trying to think of a job that won't insult people when I say it.
Yeah.
But it probably is going to insult someone, so I apologise. There are, but I'm going to use cleaner, janitor.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a job as a janitor at, say, a school. Doesn't pay very well. I don't know if it does or it doesn't. I have no knowledge of this whatsoever, so I'm just using it as an example. Okay, cool. It's a respectable job. Could you set yourself up as a cleaner privately?
Yeah.
You finish your job at the school or wherever it is you do your cleaning. You then go to people's houses and get paid a respectable amount to privately clean. You've already got the experience. You've done, however long cleaning. Or you're good with computers. Could you do something online?
Yeah, but even sticking to your cleaning analogy or story, could you sell cleaning equipment door to door at a market stall, a car boot sale, online? Okay, because most people don't know what the best cleaning materials are, and there's just demand for that. Okay, and you obviously know because you're a cleaner. Like I said, that's a respectable job, just like any other job. And
I respect anyone that does any work.
Absolutely.
Working itself is respectable.
Legal, yeah, of course. And you can show people how to clean, around the house, which gives them a better finish.
Yep. Could you start a TikTok that monetizes TikTok, that cleaning hacks that I've learned over X amount of years cleaning? The point here is not, become a cleaner and then, market yourself out and build a business.
George Bernard Shaw, the Irish playwright, Kieron, said, the possibilities are numerous or endless once you decide to act and not react.
Yes.
You got to take that step up and do it.
But the kicker here is that it's going to be in your own time. You're going to have to give your time to make this happen. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do.
Isn't it?
That's the consequence. That's the balance. That's the exchange. It's going to cost you time. But you know what? You could also go and educate people.
Yeah.
But it still costs you time. But if you want to grow wealth, increase your income, it's going to cost you something.
It's going to cost something. It's not free, I'm afraid. Number 6 is making sure that you have a saving plan and that, again, you're dogmatic about it.
And this saving plan is separate from your Save and Never Touch that we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
It's completely different. It's a separate account. This is your savings for a rainy day, savings for fun, savings for a holiday, something like that. This isn't your I need to live savings.
Yes.
Two different things. And I think it's important to distinguish the two.
I think it's T. Harv Eker who talks about this in his book when he talks about money, and there's others as well who talk about this in terms of having different jars and pots.
Yes.
And these could be bank accounts or physical jars where you put money for different things. And you make sure that you build them up, and that's so you can pay for those things, whatever those things might be.
Yep.
And, and I use the word things and keep it kind of vague and general because everybody has different priorities.
Yep.
So I don't want to say you should be doing this, that, the other. But in terms of savings, investments, the basics, your income, expenditure should have separate jars.
Yes.
Or pots, which is important.
Yep. And next, understand your risk tolerance.
Yeah.
Now, there are some strategies out there that you can, go on Google and understand for yourselves that are high risk, high reward.
Yep.
No,
absolutely,
me.
Excuse me. If you're willing to take a higher risk, then the reward will be higher, but the exposure to loss is also higher. So it just depends on your personal.
And these are generally the scenarios where you'll hear people say, "Oh, it's easy for you. You've got money. It takes money to make money." In high risk, high reward, yes, it does. I completely agree. If you're going to invest, say, £10,000 in a high risk investment, and the payoff is, £1 million, high risk, high reward. But
are you talking about Saturday night?
But if you can't afford to lose that money, then that risk is probably too high for you.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Don't do it. So suddenly, that £10,000 that we're talking about is far too much, far too much, too high a risk, not worth it. So yes, in that regard, it is high risk, high reward. If you put it in and it worked, yeah, great, you'd be a millionaire very quickly. But can you afford to? And that's the thing with risk. If the answer is no, then you can't afford to take the high risk. because it impacts you directly. It impacts your house. It impacts your home. It impacts your livelihood. Whatever.
And then the opposite is also true, not in this particular scenario, is when you're kind of clear on certain things, can you afford not to?
Yes. Yeah.
Not obviously in terms of high risk investments, because they're not for everybody.
No, they're not.
And I would say to people, if you can, like I said, if you can afford to lose £5,000, okay, but the upside is you might make 50,000 or 100,000, but if that £5,000 goes and it's not going to bother you whatsoever, apart from farmers thinking that was a bad choice that I made at the time. Maybe I should have done something different. Other than that, know the consequence, then do it. But if it's anything more than that 5-minute conversation with yourself,
yeah,
okay,
inconvenience.
Don't do it. Inconvenience, yeah. Then don't do it.
Don't do it. No, I completely
it's
agree.
Not worth it.
I mean, those are the sorts of investments that I won't make. You know,
Yeah.
they're not for me.
Well, you'll do it. You do it on a smaller scale,
Yeah.
and obviously that scale is different for everybody depending on their own attitude and the amount of cash that they have.
Yeah. And my favourite one next.
Go for it. Fill your boots.
This
is the most important.
Yes.
I know we say that about most things, but this really is the most important.
And this ties exactly into what you just said. Can you afford not to? The answer here is no, for everyone.
Yeah.
Invest in your financial education. Understand what money is, understand where it comes from, understand how it works, understand how it flows. If that's going to cost you a couple of £100 to learn, it is money well spent.
100%.
It will always be money well spent. And I cannot stress that highly enough. It's not just for bankers and investors and accountants and entrepreneurs and businessmen. It's for everybody. If everybody had financial literacy and a good understanding of finances, they would be in a much better place.
I think many people have said it in the past as well, and it's well noted that education, investing in education, pays you the best and the highest return.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is, as true as anything.
Yeah, really is.
From my own experience and yours and other people's. So once you've invested in financial education and you've got knowledge, and knowledge is power, and you're ready to make those investment choices, then the next thing is to make sure you invest in a diversified portfolio.
Yes.
Do not put all your eggs in one basket.
No.
Because that one basket which is good today might be very bad tomorrow.
Eggs go off over time.
Exactly. And when you're investing eggs, sometimes if you want to make an omelette, you got to crack a few. And that's fine. Crack them. But make sure that you spread your portfolio over different investments, be it obviously stocks, bonds, shares, real estate, crypto, property, buying other businesses or investing in other businesses, investing in other people. Okay? Spread it across as many different types of investments as you can, okay, with the highest amount being in the one that you're most comfortable with in terms of return, risk, so on and so forth. But do not put all your chips on one particular number, because if that goes sour, you had it.
Yep. And the thing with that is, you've also got to bear in mind that we're not talking thousands of pounds here. Some of these investments cost very, very little. Mm-hmm. Some of these investments can be very, very expensive, sure, but start small and grow. Take a long-term view.
Yeah, but with it, and unfortunately, the world that we live in today, as you said earlier, Kieron, is instant gratification. Nobody wants jam tomorrow. No. Everybody wants it today. And success leaves clues. It takes time.
It takes time. Always takes time.
20-year overnight success, 30-year overnight success, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay. It takes time.
I mean...
And perseverance and patience.
You've been in business, what, 22 years now?
Yeah. 21 years, yeah. My 22nd year.
Yeah. And your first year, that was all gravy, right? You made loads. You made all your money in that first year.
I made all my money. At the end of the first year, I bought, and so did my business partner, I bought a brand new BMW M3. because I'd made so much money. Like heck, I had. I got the car on finance because I always wanted a BMW M3, and I thought if I buy the car and get it on finance, and I'm paying a certain amount, it's then going to incentivize me, focus me to make that extra money to pay for the car. And you know what Kieran did?
So that worked for you?
It worked for me. It worked for me. Okay. And every month I was paying the car off. Okay. And so was my business partner. And we had a huge amount of fun. And we made it work. That's the last car. Last car I ever got on finance.
Yep.
Yeah. I haven't done it since because they depreciate. So why buy them?
Yeah.
Let somebody else take that risk. Okay. But we've covered that on obviously other episodes. But yeah, so spread your investments over different portfolios, and you obviously talked about long-term investments.
Yeah,
it takes time, slow compound returns.
Just
over
let it build up. Let it build up.
Just forget about it and then go back to it in 5, 10, 15, 20 years time. You'll have a nice surprise, a bit like a pension.
Yes.
Somebody works for 25 years and just contributes 15, 20 pounds a month to their pension. Over 25 years, there's a nice big lump sum there. Okay.
It's not as big. Mine's not as big as I want it to be.
Yeah, well, you've got to make sure that you wait a bit longer, Kieran, or invest more into it, one or the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or buy more property.
Yep.
Okay. And as you know, my favorite one of all time is leverage.
Yes.
And here you want to talk about leveraging something else, but I think just generally leverage. Okay. Is
huge.
Is the single biggest game changer. Leveraging other people's time, your time, money, expertise, okay, resource, network, opportunities, so on and so forth is huge.
I mean, you want to move that massive boulder, you can push that boulder, and struggle, and
and probably never be able to
probably
move it.
never be able to move it, or you can get a big thick stick that's able to withstand the weight of the boulder.
Yeah.
Put it on a pivot point.
Yeah.
And leverage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Directly leverage it.
Yeah, and I hear you want to talk about ISAs and SIPs in terms of pensions and SASs and that kind of stuff, and they're all fantastic as well. But I think that the main point
is leverage.
Is leverage.
Yeah.
And the more experience you have and the more contacts you have, the bigger your network, the bigger your net worth, the more sophisticated you are. Okay, the more leverage that you'll have automatically without knowing. And when you start implementing it, and you become consciously aware of it, okay, you'll really be able to do a lot because you've got the reputation, you've got the credibility, you've got the track record, so you have something to offer. But even somebody who's starting off from scratch, you also have leverage because you have time and somebody else has money.
Yep.
So they have the time. So you can leverage your time, okay?
Against their money.
Exactly. And then that's it. And
match
made in heaven.
And on top of that, is if you are the person without the money but with the time, don't get yourself caught up in this idea that this business venture that you want to go into or this investment that you want to have is strictly 50-50. Because, and I think that this is a mistake I have seen a lot of people make, is they're going in with their time and potentially their expertise, and somebody else is supplying the finance, and they're going in going, yes, well, I'm providing time and effort and expertise. They're only providing money, so it should be at least 50-50, right? And my response to that is no. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, and it sounds really harsh, but if they want to do that deal with somebody else that also has time and expertise, they can find someone else with time and expertise.
Yeah.
How many other people can you find with the money? Money's harder to come by. So,
especially when you're starting off,
especially when you're a little more sophisticated and you've got it, it's a lot easier.
Then you got a few more opportunities,
But initially, it's a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody says to you, okay, we'll do that deal, but it's 70-30, 80-20. All right, I'd rather have 20% of a large pie than 100% of a tiny pie. So don't get it in your head that just because you've got the time and the expertise or you're supplying them, it's not always...
5% of 100 grand, Kieran, is a lot more than 100% of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a simple equation.
Yeah.
And that's about being smart.
And taking your ego out of the situation.
Yeah, and thinking, I just need to... and it's when we've talked about it before, whether you call it entry fee, whether you call it entry tax, that is part of your entry tax, the time that you spend and the mistakes you make and the lessons you learn and, and the equity that you give away for just getting your step on the ladder.
Yes.
Simple. And, if you're willing to do that, you're going to be more successful.
Yes.
Period. Full stop. End of the matter. Because we've seen it, and how both have seen this. People do this many a time.
Yep.
Because they look at the bigger picture.
And it makes you more approachable. It makes people want to work with you more because you're more likely to acquiesce to their request.
You're sensible because most people I'm not doing that. No, I want 50%. Well, take 20% and do one or two deals and then build your own cash, and then you're now in the position where you can have 80% and give somebody else 20%.
Yeah.
Simple as that, isn't it? And obviously, I think that's extremely important. And also, it's important to review your financial plan regularly.
Yes.
I don't mean once a year. I would say do it monthly.
Yeah. Okay. I do mine quarterly.
Yeah. Do it monthly and say, where am I this month? Next month, quarter, so on and so forth. And the more times you do it in a year, the more opportunity you're giving yourself to succeed.
Yes.
Do it once a year. If it hasn't happened, it hasn't happened. If you do it once a quarter, you give yourself 4 opportunities.
To
once
change
a month,
your direction.
You have 12 opportunities, okay? And you can do it weekly as well, but I think weekly is kind of too soon.
Yeah.
But there are certain things you can track weekly, but your financial plan, I'll say, look at this monthly. What return have I had? Is my money working the hardest for me? What if I invested a bit more here? What would happen? What if I invested somewhere else? What would happen? And kind of tracking all of that stuff. Some people might find that boring, but once you've got enough data, it is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's money in your back pocket. So, and with that, the next one, Kieran?
Protect your wealth. This is kind of done for you in some regards, in some institutions, but in others, it's really, really not. And you hear on the radio all the time, your finances may be at risk, your home may be at risk, blah 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 is a risk, and this ties in with your risk tolerance, But take a baseline and protect what you've got. And you can look into all the products that are out there that do this. Mm-hmm. I'm not qualified to go through any of them, so I'm going to...
Speak to somebody who is,
suggest you speak to someone who is.
Number 15 then, Kieran, out of 20, is automate your finances and especially your savings.
Yes.
So invest on a regular basis, set up a direct debit, a standing order, and just let the money build up and don't compromise that. Keep that going as it is. That's important. Number 16, which is your and my favorite, invest in property and real estate. We've covered that on many different episodes, and we'll cover that in the future. Okay, property is we owe so much to property. Okay,
yes,
it's changed our lives, and there's yet so much more to come. Number 17 is explore passive income streams. Okay. So you can get money while you sleep, and although it's never that simple,
it's never that simple.
Nearly as simple.
But yeah,
okay, this is important. Number 19, join a network, an association, or a group of like-minded people. Have a mentor. Join mastermind groups. Surround yourself with people who you want to be like. Educate yourself, which we've already covered previously. And the most important of all,
you skipped 18
list,
now. You skipped 18.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh, I have.
You did.
I have.
Seek professional advice. And we say this a lot. We do say this a lot, and it is true. The thing is, with professionals, when you get to know them, they become part of your network. When they become part of your network, they become part of your friendship circle. Mm-hmm. Once they're part of your circle, they also become your mentors. Your mentor and your friend become one and the same thing. Yeah. And suddenly...
And they open doors for you as well.
There's a whole different thing going on there, because now your mentor is putting you in front of people or willing to help you with X, Y, or Z. Massive difference.
Huge. And number 20, stay committed and patient to wealth creation because it's a marathon and not a sprint.
Yep.
So plan the dive and then dive the plan.
Yeah.
No point doing anything else, and do not deviate. Okay, it's hard. It's a long, windy road, ups and downs, peaks and troughs. Okay,
and it's gonna
ebbs and flows.
Things that you don't expect are going to happen are going to happen.
That's right, and how you deal with them is going to determine
how you succeed.
Outcome and how you succeed. And it's not about the destination. We've all heard it before. It's about the journey and what you become.
Grow,
on that
develop, improve yourself.
Journey. That's right. So that's it for today. We've covered a lot there. From these 20 things, if you just commit to doing one, that would be a fantastic start.
Yep.
Keep us posted. We wish you, obviously, all the best in your endeavours and journeys. Until next week, take good care of yourself, your family, your community, and your loved ones. Bye for now.
You're listening to Salam Radio, and it's now time for Isha Azan.